Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Ironbark Podcast. And I am your host, Epion. And today I have 6 beautiful articles, wonderful articles to share with you in regards to nature and wildlife. Following the coverage of those articles, I will jump into some of my content creation, give my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on them. And then I'll probably go into a diatribe, ranting, rave of bitching, complaining, moaning, and screaming without any kind of sexual connotations attached to that. All kind of complaining about sort of some changes that have been happening on the coveted X platform. So without further ado, I was going to give you a cursory sort of what to expect these articles to be about. So you can determine early on in this podcast if you're actually interested in listening or not. Because I know some of my episodes, allegedly, according to some, absolute dog shit. But okay, I'm going to digress here. We're going to talk about Theia. It's an ancient planet that used to be in our solar system, but they believe collided in Earth, responsible for the formation of the moon, and some other things that I'm going to talk about that kind of popped up recently in the news. We're going to talk about Henry, the giant crocodile. We're going to talk about selling shares in dinosaur fossils. We're going to talk about a new plant not belonging to any known families of other plants, living or extinct. And we're going to talk about these things called obelisks. And you're probably thinking, oh, like those giant stone statues in Egypt? No. I say, nay. What they actually are, this is a name that they're calling a new life form found in the human body. And I'm reading it and I'm like, this is sort of terrifying, but whatever. And then we have a humpback whale travels farther than any mammal ever recorded. It sounds like a lovely podcast. I hope you check it. I hope you stick around. Hope you listen. I hope you fucking listen. Huh? You never fucking listen. How many fucking times do I gotta tell you to fucking listen and you ain't fucking listening? Anyway. Holy fuck. Okay. Let's go here. What do we have? Okay. So this was published in Nature. Okay, this is talking about Theia here. I think this was published by, oh man, I don't know how to say it. It's Chinese, I think. Qian Wan. Moon forming impactor as a source of Earth's basal mantle anomalies. That's the name of it. It's published in Nature. I've given credit where credit is due. Okay. So basically, let's see. I'm going to summarize it very briefly. I'm going to take a little bit of the abstract. I'm not going to get too deep into it because there's a lot of words I don't fucking understand. You ain't going to fucking understand, so I'm not going to waste the time with it. Seismic images of Earth's interior have revealed 2 continent-sized anomalies with low seismic velocities known as large to low velocity provinces. See, even that little part there was fucking probably complex. It was probably a little bit much. Anyway, all you got to know is there's like a mass inside our planet that seismic is like how fucking earthquake waves kind of move through them, and it moves through it differently in that part, so they can tell it's like a different density. It's like it's composed differently. So in the paper they say our canonical giant impact simulations show that a fraction of Theia's mantle could have been delivered into proto-Earth solid lower mantle layer. This is interesting. This is very interesting. It's very interesting. It's very interesting indeed. So it's basically just a hypothesis, but it was still published. I guess they have some sort of evidence to support it. Kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy. Like to think there was another planet in our solar system. We collided with it. It helped form the moon, and now a piece of it is forever inside of us. It was a lovely relationship that we once had with the did you know Earth is technically called Terra because all the planets in the solar system are named after like Roman or Greek gods? So you have Jupiter, Mars, right? Okay. Anyway, Earth is just a weird name. And the moon is Luna. It's Luna. It's not the moon. It's not the moon, man. We give them weird names to the planets and shit. Into a much more lovely story. Henry, the giant crocodile, who has sired 10,000 babies, celebrates his 124th birthday. Marvelous. Beautiful creature. So Henry is a Nile crocodile. He is at the Croc World Conservation Center in South Africa. And his birthday was on December 16th. So it just passed. Happy birthday to you. He's the world's oldest known crocodile. He's been at the conservation place since, I think, 1985. But he was originally captured in, I'm going to butcher this, Okavango Delta in Botswana in 1903. He's a pretty apparently he's a pretty vigorous senior resident, but it's pretty obvious that he's quite old. But also it's kind of hard to really distinguish his exact age. He appears, somewhere in the ballpark of 100 to 130, and 124 is not inconceivable for a crocodile. So that's some cool news. Let's all give it up for Henry, and maybe one day he'll get as old as that one fish. I think what's in that American zoo? What is it? It's in the San Francisco Aquarium. What's his name? He had the same name as like the father of Noah. God damn, Methuselah. Yeah, I did a podcast on Methuselah once, huh? Long-time listeners will know that. The next thing, this one's pretty interesting. So you've heard of the stock market, and you thought, this is just gambling. This isn't for me. I need money to make money. Shucks, this is not going good for me at all. And then the crypto market came around, and you're like, oh boy, this is what I'm talking about. Pennies on the dollar, and I can make millions. And then you get your ass kicked and your legs swept out when the platform goes defunct. Yeah, I've been there. Found that out this week, by the way. Not going to get into that. I'm not bitter at all. I'm totally bitter about it. But anyway, so then maybe moved on from that to collectibles, and you started getting into Pokemon cards. For those that follow me intensively on social media, you'll find out that, yes, I do like Pokemon cards. I'm quite into them. They're quite expensive. They're quite nice, actually. But thing is with Pokemon, it's an unregulated market, tons of counterfeits, all that kind of stuff. There's treacherous waters with that as well. But here's something you probably never thought of, huh? Anything can be valuable, any sort of collectible, even dinosaur bones, even dinosaurs. So apparently there's been an article published in the New York Times, a new frontier in paleontology for profit, selling shares in a Stegosaurus. So basically, the nuts and bolts of this is like, people notice that the private market is dominating the research area of the market. So a lot of these museums and stuff are getting beat out on these specimens, and they can't study them because these private collectors are just like, they have way more money than they do to spend on dinosaur skeletons and bones and stuff like that. So this one company thought, okay, how can I help leverage this a bit? They're like, I know, I'm going to buy the rights to this like dinosaur quarry, and there's going to be a fully intact stegosaur here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell off 200,000 shares in it for $60 a piece. And I'm going to tell people, I guess that comes to like a price of whatever. I'm not going to do the math. I suck at math. But anyway, the idea is that you invest in it, and then when it goes to auction, it sells for a considerable amount of price. And I hope they're thinking maybe it sells for like $3 million, then everyone makes back, a lot more than what they paid for it in the first place in those shares. Kind of interesting. It's a kind of a cool way to crowdsource and crowdfund paleontology. It's interesting. It kind of made me want to own a piece of it, but then I realized, I'm only owning a piece of it to try to make something out of it. But if it doesn't sell at auction for a target price, then technically I get back like $40. And now that whole thing, like, I know it's designed to make money, but what if it's like a scheme, right? And it's just like, they just want to fund their own stuff, so everyone's getting back half of what they paid. I don't know. I don't know the finer details, right? I don't know how much does someone got to get a cut off the top first, but it's an interesting frontier in the stegosaur market. Moving on to the next little bit of newsy. This one isn't a doozy, but I digress. I hate this because there's tons of clickbait articles and they're like, alien plant. Ooh, it's an alien plant. An alien plant. It's from outer space. And when they say alien, they're meaning like unknown, strange. When you click it, you think, oh, it came from space. It's alien. It's an anomaly. It's so strange. No, what they found was basically a plant in the fossil record that doesn't match up with anything extinct or currently alive. It kind of has like a bunch of different things about it that make it an anomaly, a standalone type of plant. So basically, I don't even know if I want to get into this article because, to be completely honest with you, it's not a good one. It's not interesting at all. I basically summarized it. The only thing I could really tell you more about it that I haven't already is kind of go into the details about why it's so different than other plants. There's a lovely picture of it. It's a recreation of some artistic liberties were taken with it as well, though. What do we have? Yeah, it's basically like how its fertilization process goes. It's probably like how its chlorophyll process looks. I'm not going to bore you. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Moving on to the next. If you want to look that up, you can go ahead and look that up. I'm sure you'll get plenty of hits on Google when you type in like alien plant. So human obelisks. New life form found in humans. Basically, it's a microbe. It's a weird looking microbe. It's kind of based in RNA. Similar to virus, but different enough where it can... And viruses are already kind of weird enough to kind of designate as a life form. They're kind of like weird in their own way. Behaves like microbes, but they kind of introduce themselves to something different. Oh man, without getting this is another one I don't want to get too technical on it because I know you're just going to tune out. I suggest reading the paper and stuff like that. It's pretty it's kind of concerning because it says a lot about like RNA and stuff like that, and you start thinking about like other things recently with RNA, and then people get all like political and it gets all fucking weird. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But they've been found in all different types of regions of our bodies, and it's sort of like helping solve like evolutionary puzzles, and then now they want to kind of categorize like different human obelisks. So it's like this whole like new thing, and then it kind of like paints a new picture of what constitutes life. Like the question of life is actually quite complex, and people don't know exactly how to go about it because technically like a lot of classical definitions can meet, like a lot of different things can meet the classical definitions of what life is. Like even technically fire sort of somehow like can sneakily be considered like living if you go by certain definitions. So this is like another thing that's going to kind of throw a wrench into people's kind of like boundaries of when life is and when it's not. So to give biologists a headache, let's give it a thumbs up. Like they didn't need it anymore. We're going to talk about a humpback whale that travels farther than any mammal ever recorded. Humpback whales have long impressed us for their incredible travel distances, but this one was recorded. So they recorded the unexpected journey from south. So this comes in earth.com article by Eric Rales. Scientists recently recorded an adult male humpback from an expected journey from South America to Africa, traveling more than 8,106 miles. That's 13,046 kilometers. That doesn't really seem that fucking far, really, you know? Does it really seem that far? You can't tell me like a wolf hasn't gone like that far, but just running up and down from like Yellowstone up to fucking Alaska. There's been one, right? There's been at least one. There's been stories about it. I don't know if it's record breaking. Is it record breaking? Is it just record breaking because it's in a straight line? It doesn't show like I'm just going all over the fucking place. I guess it's just going by like furthest distance, not by most distance. Because if it went by most distance, like everything travels a fuck lot, right? Anyway. Yep. That's basically it. That's all the news. That's all the articles. That's all the news. There's nothing else left to talk about. Now we're going to dive into my content creation. This is the content creation part of the podcast. If you're interested in content creation by me, stick around. Have a little bit of a listen. Let's see. We got to scroll all the way back down to when I posted the last podcast. Okay. So I posted a quick little cell phone picture from a hike this summer. A little waterfall, cascade action alongside the hiking trail. It's beautiful. I mean, everywhere you go in the Rockies, it's fucking beautiful. You can take a picture of like bear shit and post it online, and it looks fucking amazing because it's surrounded by like the vast epicness of like the outdoors. Shared some a nice little reading spot out in the Rockies. I like to go. It's a nice little place to have lunch and stuff as well. I posted Elon Musk's book there. That's kind of an older picture. People from way back when I first started on X will probably recognize that. I have a few of these books to give away. They're all signed by the author, Walter Isaacson. I think I might tie that into something. I started back up a community. That's also another post that I did. I brought back a community I started a while ago, like 2 years ago. It basically sat dormant and dead, but I feel like it has prestige because it's so antiquated. But there's not really a lot of people, but I'm going to try to bring it back. And the reason I'm going to try to bring it back is because I'm unhappy with how a lot of other people are managing their communities, especially in regards to nature and wildlife. Though there are plenty of good ones out there too, so I'm not hating on everyone. It's just that I feel like they're not about nature and wildlife. They're not about conservation, not about ecology. It's like strictly about posting pictures and videos of certain things. And that's nice and that's cool and all, but it also allows for like a lot of phonies that kind of come in with like images that aren't theirs, crappy images, like just kind of barely meeting the definition of like, or like the parameters to like post in there. And it seems like a lot of people in there are disingenuous. They don't seem authentic and they don't seem real. They seem fake. And I struggled with this because it's like no one in here can have a conversation with me about anything. So there's a few photographers that can, but the people that generally run it can't have a conversation with you about photography, about videography. They can't have a conversation about conservation. They can't have a discussion about biology, ecology, nothing. So in my opinion, that to me tells me these people are a phony. They're kind of just using wildlife and nature as like a brand or like a niche to kind of like disguise what they really want to do, which is like make money off the X platform without having to do much effort or work. So it's about analytics, numbers, and this is kind of just like a guise. It could have been anything, but they just went with nature because whatever, it's easy. And I found that they only want necessarily the community doing well. They don't want members in the community doing well. And if it doesn't serve the best interests of the community, they don't want anything to do with it. So if you like link something that goes to your profile, which will generate clicks onto your profile and help grow you as an individual, they won't like that. So I wanted to make a community, and I understand why they wouldn't want to do that. But to me, it's like, if you have people providing you with content and you're not paying them, they're giving it to you for free, what are they getting on the back end of that? Are they getting more followers? Because if they're not growing at all, and my experience was like zero growth in these communities, they're not getting any followers from them, barely any. A lot of elitism in nature and wildlife content creation for some reason, a lot of snobbyism. Like it's a, I'm the creator, you follow me. Like it's a very like the art gallery sentiment where it's like, I am established. I am the suffering artist and this and that. And it's kind of like cringe and it's kind of weird, but I'm going to digress here a bit. But I wanted a place for a community where it's like, this isn't about analytics. This isn't about bringing in people who have nothing to do with nature and wildlife because they have some sort of like way to like pump up numbers. This is going to be strictly for people into nature and wildlife. Anyone can join. Like I'm not going to like say, oh, you're not a nature and wildlife creator, you can't join. Obviously, I want people who just want to look at it and just kind of comment on things to be able to do that, who enjoy nature and wildlife so they can see it. That's why it's like that. That's very community based, right? I'm not putting these thresholds on it like other people do. And if you have a post that you're very proud of that's related to nature and related to nature and wildlife that you're very proud of, and it did very well, went viral, something like that, I want you to be able to share it. So then people will click on it and go to your profile. Then you'll get hits and you'll get creator revenue from people visiting your profile. I want it to be very creator oriented, to bring people up, not just the like sort of bask in the glory of the like guy at the top, which would be me in this instance because I'm like the admin of the community. But I feel like some people like made communities just because they're like, oh, I can make more ad revenue by being the admin here, and I want to like bolster other people. Holy, I also went into like a massive diatribe on photography. I also randomly posted happy birthday to Christina Aguilera just because her like ad is like at X Dina, and it's like kind of like the X platform. I was hoping like someone would say something on it, like famous or whatever, but no Dice-a-Rooney. Went into like a full-on diatribe about photography versus digital art. I could do it. I think I've done an entire podcast on this before as well. I'm not going to get too much into it, but this always pisses people off. People like, and I posted this and this kind of triggered people. It kind of, I think they wanted to touch on and clarify a few things, but it was like, yeah. Posted a picture from me at Moraine Lake. I don't really say that in the post because sometimes I don't like posting where I am in a certain post. One, because it's kind of irrelevant. You can't really see the greater picture. But I'm balancing on a log that's kind of like sitting over top of the lake, and I'm balancing on my hands. It's kind of cool. I thought it was cool. People thought it was cool. Very cool. Posted a picture of some mule deer tracks on my driveway. I get lots of animal tracks around my house and property. It's kind of neat. I wish I saw them more often. I do see them every now and then standing outside when I leave for work, especially in the winter when it's still dark out. X payday, I got paid. Getting paid more and more frequent. This time it was only $14, which it's okay. If that happens every 2 weeks, $15, that pays for what it costs to run the account. And then I get paid a little bit more on top of it. I'm okay with that. That's good. But that's going to get me into my bitch fest that's going to happen after I'm done covering my content about some of the changes the X platform's doing that I'm not fucking happy about. I'm not fucking happy about it at all. And I got a fucking list of grievances. Okay. This is actually from my adventure this weekend. I got another post on here. It's a picture of like a phone booth in the middle of the mountains, like literally in the middle of nowhere. And the purpose of this is supposed to be for like emergencies because there's no cell phone service out there. And obviously Starlink is changing the dynamics of this a lot. But I tried to make this a bit of a funny post, but it didn't really get that much traction. But it looks nice though. Like the way it's kind of like centered, like off to the side, and you got nice mountains in the background. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is like, because it's wintertime, the grass is all dead. Everything kind of looks crap here in the winter. And there is a picket fence along there too, a crappy one. It's mostly just posts now because everything's come down. But I said, what is this? A skinwalker, a time machine, a piece of shite. And then I said, press 0 to speak to the operator. If you're feeling lonely and wanted to speak to someone. And that was actually on the winter solstice. So yeah, the 21st was the winter solstice, everyone. And then for my Wildlife Wednesday, this will be a repost. I'm sorry for the repost. I tried to go out this weekend to get new footage of bighorn sheep potentially fighting, but they were not down the mountain. They were not fucking down the mountain. I couldn't find any fucking sheep. I usually see more sheep than what I know to fucking do with. But this time of year, I think they're up on the mountain doing the mating thing, so it's a little bit harder to get footage. Yeah, but it's a good grizzly bear video. I like it. Not a lot of likes though. Got a lot of reach, 480, but then like 16 likes. I swear to God, like there's like creator. It has to be creator envy. Like, how do you not just throw a like? Like, I go through the feed and I'll basically like everything. It's like likes. I see someone put effort, like. Other people are just like, no. I'm like, no. I'm not recognizing this. I don't like this. I need to see top tier effort. And meanwhile, they post shit all day and want likes. It makes no sense. It's so hypocritical. The creator mentality is fucking hypocritical. All right. I need to take a fucking sip of tea because I've been ranting and raving. My throat's giving out. Oh, man, oh man, oh man. So, the X platform is increasing the price for Premium Plus members. It's a significant increase. It's gone from like think it's like 15 or 16 bucks a month to like 20, 22 bucks a month or something crazy like that. Now that might not seem like a big deal on the surface, but let's get into it. It's kind of a big deal. So everybody, pretty much everybody, generally, not everybody, but generally pretty much everyone who's paying for a premium plus account, not just a premium account, a premium plus account, is aspiring to be a content creator. And the idea is that they will be able to overcome that cost by earning back revenue. So it's kind of like an expense account in a business. It's like, okay, it's going to cost me this much in utilities to run the business, but I expect to make this much off the business I make, and then I'll have this much profit at the end of it. This increases it. So basically it's like a tax increase. It's like a utilities increase, whatever. And the idea, and it's weird because they say like all that creator revenue goes back into the creators. So it's kind of weird, right? So it's like, okay, so you're taxing us more to pay us more, but obviously not everyone's going to get paid. So we're going to basically take from all the small accounts to give to the big accounts. But then when the small accounts don't make anything and they're paying hundreds of dollars a year for this account, they're going to take their ball and leave. They're basically just going to be like, oh, fuck this. I'm not paying these creators that I can't stand who are a bunch of phonies and fakes while I'm making nothing and trying really hard and making authentic, real content, posting videos and that kind of sort of thing. People are just going to pack up and leave. And then when they leave, then there's no one to source money from to pay the big accounts. And the big accounts are going to be like, oh, what the hell? Where's all my money? I deserve money for resharing 14-year-old memes. And it's going to get kind of a little crazy, right? So what I'm trying to say is you can't rob, like figuratively, 100 or 1,000 Peters to pay a single Paul. You know, you can't raise taxes to increase wages. It's the same sort of thing. I don't know what the point of this is. And then they mentioned a few extra perks. The perks were not compelling or convincing. So they're like, oh, priority premium, like customer service help. And it's like, okay, first of all, don't even fucking get me started on the customer service. The customer service, abysmal. I waited a year and a half. And I was like monthly sending fucking messages to like, you know, premium help, whatever the fuck, like support. And you get an automated response. And then when someone sends you like a non-automated response, they're like, oh, subscribe to premium for better help. And it was like, I already am. Like, what? You can't even fucking tell them subscribe to premium. Like, it was so fucking bad. A year and a half passes. And then they're like, so I was supposed to get my subscriptions approved so people could give me money and I could give them additional content. They changed a benchmark from, I probably bitched about this before. They changed a benchmark from 500 followers, just any kind of follower, to 2,000 verified followers, meaning people that pay for their accounts, meaning content creators. Other content creators don't want to subscribe to people. They want to sell subscriptions. They don't want to buy subscriptions. They are a provider. They are not a consumer. And this is where I think X is missing the fucking play like 100%. They want a paradigm shift where the creator is also the consumer. It's not going to fucking happen. It's just not. People are too, I'm the main character. Everyone follow me. You see it in spaces all the time. People subscribe to each other to do this and this, but they think there's like a play. They think there's like a play, like, oh, I'm going to play this. Like, oh, this guy's kind of influential. Maybe I'll ride on his coattails a bit. I'll get a couple of shout outs. And then they never do. Then they unsubscribe. And it's a fucking nightmare. Or they supply, like they're you know, they pick and choose who they want to like subscribe to. Anyway, the support, I went without support for a year and I was a Premium Plus guy. I don't know if I was Premium Plus the entire year, but the moment Premium Plus became available, I got it. And I don't think it was around for a year and a half, but maybe like a year, maybe like half a year. But I was Premium before that. And it's just like, you're telling me, oh, there's going to be better support. It's like, no, there fucking isn't. So what's the perks here? There is no fucking perks. They're like, oh, we're thinking about making it better. You want to make it better? The only thing you can do to make it better is like have like puppet accounts or like sub accounts linked to you. So it'd be like, mine's Epion. So it'd be like Epion 2 or something. And it's just like another account where you can post like different types of content, like video game content or memes or something. You have a meme account, you have a parody account, you have a gaming account. shit like that. If you could have additional accounts linked to you, but like were different, that would be kind of cool. If you maybe got a badge, maybe that would be kind of cool, but that would sort of really piss off people with the like company affiliation. You to get the badge, so I wouldn't recommend that. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the change. I don't think it's good. I think they need to bring back ad rev. I think they need to bring back like branding. As a nature and wildlife guy, I can say brands would specifically target me over all these fucking random they don't even have a brand. They're just like random like stolen memes from 14 years ago content. Talking about, some people are comedians. They post like daily videos or multiple videos a day of them like telling jokes and being funny and being like weird or being like themselves. That's amazing content. That's good content. That's like TikTok style, like Instagram reel style, where I feel like there's actually like a massive market for that. This other stuff is weird. Like it's like, oh, here's a meme people forgot from 16 years ago. I'm going to talk about it. And then like there's a bunch of like normies that don't know about it, and it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't think it's a good direction. If you had brands like, photography brands would probably want to sponsor me if I was bigger. Kayak stuff, outdoor gear like jackets, they would want to sponsor me. They'd be like, okay, this creator, we'll make sure you put ads on his. It's like YouTube, right? It's like, oh, this guy puts up nature videos, let's advertise nature stuff on it. This is where like the niche and branding is important, and that's where it benefits small accounts, and that's why ad rev is better than creator rev. The other portion of that is that with the subscriptions being 2,000, subscriptions is the easiest way for the small guy to sort of balance the books, to get into the green if there's a lot of expenditures into content creation. And the reason for that is, on a platform like Twitch, you can have 50 followers. And if all 50 of those guys follow you, you can sell subscriptions. Now, are all 50 of those going to buy a subscription? No, probably not. But in theory, they could. And at $1 a person, that's $50. You are now green. As a small creator with 50 followers, you are green. And none of those people need to have accounts that they're paying monthly to have. They don't need to be verified, nothing. The fact that they have a payment card associated with their account and they're subscribing to a creator is even a way to kind of put a tick on that account to say this is a real person, or at least has a payment method associated with it. So I think they should encourage on X, if they want to get rid of bots, to allow non-verified accounts to subscribe to creators. That's one way to deal with bots as well. And that's another way to let the small guy grow. Having the threshold be 2,000 verified, basically other content creators following you, and then you have to try to sell them something when they want to only sell something to you. It's a pain in the ass. Like, it's such a pain in the ass. It's like 2,000. So you basically already have to be famous on a big account to then start making money on here. So you have to do like years and years and years and years of, and here's the thing. The only thing that really grows accounts by like a considerable margin is spaces. So you're basically forced into a niche of content creation that may not even be your niche, just so you can grow your account, so you can grow followers. No one gives a fuck about your photography. No one gives a fuck about your videos. No one gives a fuck about your articles. No one gives a fuck about your posts. You talk in a space, and you may not even say anything fucking relevant or important, but people will just happen to follow you there. Oh, it's so annoying. Like, spaces shouldn't be the only way you can grow. This platform is sort of broken in a lot of ways, and people kind of don't want to admit it. And I don't want to admit it either. I don't want to share on the platform, but I feel like if I stay quiet, that things don't change. And there's people who are actively okay with the way it is because they benefit from it, so they don't want it to change. And they selfishly don't want it to change because they don't want other people outside of their content creation spectrum to do well. They just want themselves to do well. They want to continue doing well. And I kind of get that, but still, it's not good for the overall platform that wants to be an everything platform that you have to go in to a thing and talk to a bunch of fucking egomaniacs. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's cool that maybe at some point you'll have like all these people that sort of know each other from like, oh, remember back in the Spaces day? And it'll be like a YouTube type thing where all the YouTube creators kind of know each other in a way. Anyway, I digress. It's a massive pain in the ass. They need to lower the threshold. They need to allow non-verified accounts to buy subscriptions. They need to have additional fucking ways of revenue. They need to add a shop onto the profile so people can sell shirts. Like, they're without the ad revenue, like it's just small accounts paying the big accounts to be on the platform. No one, and people don't even like really like the big accounts. Like, they like some of them. Some of them are fucking cool. Like Penny's cool, Little Humans Big Impact, fucking cool. But then there's like other ones that are just like, holy fuck. Like grandfathered in. Like, talk about grandfathered in. I don't know. That's about it. I reckon that's about it. That's about my ranting and raving and bitching and complaining. Oh boy. Anyway, folks. It's the Christmas holidays. This is like the Christmas edition, I think. When is the next podcast? On the next Sunday? That's the 29th, so that's like the between the New Year's and Christmas edition. This is the holiday. This is the happy holidays that I just sat here bitching and complaining. I need like a Christmas episode. A bonus Christmas episode. Maybe I'll be able to do something. Anyway, folks. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a wonderful episode. Oh, yeah. Podcast, yeah. Iron Barkcast, yeah. Iron Bark, yeah.